My wife asked for a divorce. I refused and ripped up the divorce papers.
Classic. I hate the divorce papers.
Can't believe you killed a tree for that. So, me, 27 male, and my wife, 31 female, hit a rough spot and have been separated at home for almost a year now. By the way, this comes from Fun Independence 5964 on the Best Updates subreddit. So, it was largely my fault. After a big setback and my father's unaliving, I fell into the drink and despair. Stopped taking care of myself and neglected her and was emotionally bad to her. Eventually, she had enough, and after I refused therapy for the nth time, consulted a divorce lawyer and drafted papers. I signed them off right away, but she didn't, keeping them in her room. She knew I was in a hard spot financially, so she said she'd wait for me to come into my inheritance so I could move out, and then she'd sign and file for a no-fault divorce. Not from the U.S. in her country. You can do this.
That's very considerate of her.
After, or maybe she's just trying to get a little of that inheritance.
She's like, well, wait.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Mm-hmm.
And then you'll give me all of your money.
After 2 months sleeping in my home office, I got sick of it, stopped with the drinking, dived into work, and overall did chores around the house and helped her out. When she commented on my change, I boasted I was doing it for myself, not for her, and she agreed because while she wanted me out, she still cared for me. Over the last months, she also occasionally asked me to sleep in the bed with her and not in my home office. Nothing intimate happened, but she still spooned me.
Aw, they have a lot of love for each other.
You a little spoon.
They're just going through a hard time.
This was until last evening. We had gotten closer and closer, especially over the holidays, and I told her that what I said was true. I had changed and stopped drinking to show her at first, but then I really wanted to turn over a new leaf and be a good soon-to-be ex-husband. Also, Caitlin Van Kampen says, oh, Sam knows about sleeping in the home office, referencing the fact that Sophia, although the younger sibling, got a whole room to herself as her bedroom, and I had to share a room with my mom's office. And a dog, and my bed was converted into a couch during the day.
And you loved it.
Sure. She went to her room and picked the divorce papers, setting them in front of me. She asked what we should do with those then. So I ripped them, and she yelled out a big yes, and then hugged me.
Wait, so this is a positive. I ripped the divorce papers.
This is
cute.
Like,
we're in love.
We're in love again.
What? They should rip them up really tiny and then use them as confetti.
In their
and then go and get their vows. Yeah.
Their vows renewed.
Yeah.
So I guess we won't be getting divorced. Hooray!
Hooray!
And you might think, oh, finally, a happy ending on
Yeah,
Reddit.
this is it. That's it. That's the end of the story.
But we're only 10% done with this story. We have more, but we have some relevant comments. So, Objective Error 402 says, your wife is a keeper. Guard her with your life and don't ever break her heart. Good luck, bro. OP responds, I will, thank you. I was so deep down in negativity that I could not see how I hurt her. To add, I may sound neutral / uncaring by the tone of the post, but I really didn't expect what happened, what I did, and how she'd react. We had talked a bit previously about this, and all she said is that she was in no hurry to divorce as long as I was respectful and kept improving. I had a hunch she wanted to try and reconcile, but she was already being so generous to me that I didn't want to try and push my luck. And I admit it feels weird that we can be husband and wife again. I guess it will take some time after over a year as roommates. And EJ Math 13 says, just to add, she likely wanted the changes, but wanted them to be motivated changes, not based on a threat. OP making the changes even after signing the papers shows the changes are for himself and likely to stick, even if it was to be a good soon-to-be ex-husband. Very different than proving you should be a keeper. Still kudos all around. And OP responds, thank you. She was ready to go through with it because even if she loves me, she couldn't keep enduring me hurting both myself and her emotionally and morally. And I think she was right to do that. It still feels weird to be sleeping in the same bed every night and be affectionate. Aww. We haven't been intimate at all during separation, and she hinted she wants to reconnect too. On that level. Ooh. Earth Angel 10614 says, take things slow. Show her intimacy, not spicy sleep. Learn to be best friends, whether for the first time or again. Confide in her. and listen, really listen when she confides in you. Share your thoughts and emotions with her. You don't have to grieve alone, and I don't think she ever wanted you to. In my opinion, there's nothing spicy sleepier than a guy who is in touch with himself enough that he will cry in front of his girl. Let her know you trust her enough to share that with her. And it's okay to let her hold you while you grieve. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. You should each be able to feel your individual pain, to be confronted.
Comforted.
OP responded.
Comforted. Like that, like Benjamin Button at the end of Benjamin Button.
Just like that. OP responded, you are right. I definitely need to learn to be more open emotionally, and I'm working on it in therapy. Also, when we hug or cuddle, I admit to her that it feels a bit weird, but also pleasant and fuzzy after so much time. She just reassures me that for those things, we have all the time in the world. But she also said, no hurry, and take things at our pace. Right angle says eventually she had enough after I refused therapy for the nth time. This is the actual step you need to take. Therapy. You are a drinky dranker coming out of a major depressive episode. This won't be the last depressive episode, nor will it be the last relapse. Don't let the honeymoon period blind you to what's really happening. You have a golden opportunity to save your marriage. Start doing the real work. OP responds, you're absolutely right. I'm in therapy now. Where transpired, I was swapping drankism for workaholism. So now I'm trying to find a healthy ground because in the long run, it would undo all the progress so far. All right. So we got a bunch of, it seems like OP is cementing all these good habits.
You got to get your eyes wet to get her wet.
Oh.
Amen. That's true.
Sure. But it does seem like OP, like everyone's in the comments is like, make sure you're vigilant.
Yeah. Which I mean is true. Like,
yeah.
Like you need to. I think.
I think OP is doing that.
That last comment was really good.
But is he going to do it for long? What are our bets? If you're a betting man, is OP going to stick
I think OP's
to the
gonna make
straight and narrow?
I think he's gonna do it.
Kimberly Fine says, Jesus, don't predict a relapse out loud to a newly sober person. Yeah, I thought
do
that
think
was a little bit much.
That's why I feel like the commenter could have been a little bit like, hey, just like make sure you know.
Yeah, they could have said it better.
You got this, bro.
But this is Reddit. Well, we got an update 5 days later. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I posted a week ago about what had happened the evening prior after living separate at home for almost a year. My soon-to-be ex-wife wanted to reconcile, so I ripped the divorce papers in front of her to her delight. However, soon after the realization that I had planned my whole new year around, the fact that I was getting divorced set in, and that the decision of reconciliation actually brought me uncertainty and anxiety. My wife noticed that, and we had a number of heart-to-hearts about this. There were laughs, even tears during those talks, tears of the good, liberatory kind. My wife rarely, if almost never, cries. She's the stoic type, but seeing her break into tears, sobbing how much I hurt her and that she still loves me was like getting stabbed in the heart. I realized the pain I caused her that is still fresh and burning. She unloaded all the pain and turmoil I had inflicted upon her with the past behavior and admitted she felt both proud and bitter about my changes last year. Proud because I turned my life around. Bitter because I accepted the divorce so quickly as if she was what was holding me back and she wasn't worth my best self.
No.
However, she was also angry at herself because she was already reconsidering the divorce back in June, but didn't say anything or gave me signals because she feared I'd revert back to my old behavior or would rebuff her. In the meantime, I had started to renovate my father's old villa.
Oh, right. OP has an inheritance.
Well, more of a big house than a proper mansion. To move in this year and gave her only breadcrumbs of information about it. And she was both positively surprised to learn about all the work I am putting into it, and again, a bit bitter that I didn't tell her anything about all my projects that were designed without her in mind, and if she was just an already fading memory. The possibility of an amicable divorce has been brought up again, but she wanted 2 clear answers. Was there another woman?
No.
Did I actually stop loving her? The answers to both questions is no. I told her I did suffer from losing her in our marriage, but I didn't want to be the ex-husband who made fleeting promises, hounded her down, and made a nuisance of herself. It's the least I could have done after making her suffer so much. And also, my butt hurts. Squats yesterday.
And also, my butt hurts.
Yeah,
That's what OP said.
I did squats yesterday, and
Yeah.
you know,
Can you walk? How does it feel walking up the stairs?
feels like 2 pancakes.
Wait a second. Are you gonna set up like that for a sec?
I'm trying to make my butt just not.
You got it.
All right. Also, thank her for her infinite kindness. I just worked, did my best to be a good soon-to-be ex-husband, paid my utilities, and wanted to pay her rent for the room she allocated to me in her home, which she always refused even when I insisted. Eventually, I arrived at the $1 million question.
Uh-oh.
Do we want this marriage to work?
Yes.
Yes.
It just seems like both of them are trying to do what they think is right for the other person. And they just need to have a conversation.
Mhm. They're playing
talk about
relationship chicken.
Yeah, they're like,
Answer?
oh, well, if you want to get a divorce, it's fine.
Answer?
What's the answer?
Yes.
Let's go.
Huzzah!
It won't be easy, and there's still a lot of work to do and be done. And we agreed to take baby steps and have already booked a couple therapy sessions for this week. I'm already doing individual therapy, but now she'll be looking for individual therapy for herself as well. In the last week, we went on some quiet dates, walks, and a short hiking trip. I also made a peace offering of sorts by asking her if she wanted to participate in my renovation project of my father's house, giving her input and ideas. She was enthusiastic about it. She likes gardening, but her property has no garden, and she makes do with potted plants on the balcony. While my father's house has a large garden and a big plot of overgrown land behind it. She said, we'll be busting our backs, but it'll be worth it. And I think that working together on a shared project will help reestablish our bond.
It also gives OP this kind of thing to work
Yeah.
on, too.
So that's where we stand now. The road is still long and difficult, but I am hopeful. I wish sincerely that all the Redditors who gave me their insights, comments, praises, and criticism their best. And
Dude.
comments, congrats. I was the one who suggested doing the renovation together. I'm glad she liked the idea. Best of luck. OP responds, yes, I took your advice and couldn't thank you enough for it, my friend. It brought out an enthusiasm I hadn't seen in so long. Team Ink says, congratulations. Thank you. OP says, it's still too soon. And Spoink 74 says, I'm really happy to read this one. The last one ended on a too positive a note. This one is more realistic, but also hopeful and optimistic.
They were like, it was too happy. I didn't trust it.
Yeah. OP responds and says, yes, it would have been foolish to think everything would have been fine right away. It's not like in movies where they make passionate love and are all lovey-dovey all of a sudden. There's been distance for a year and hurt on both sides. It'll take time to heal and be close to each other again. But there's an update.
No.
And it's not all rosy. Shall we go straight into it?
Yes.
Also, as the progression of the garden grows,
The
Their
relationship
relationship will.
grows.
Mhm.
So true.
True. So OP responds with an update 8 days later. Difficulty sleeping with wife after separation? Is that normal?
Presumably.
Presumably. Little change in the last week. We had our first couple counseling session and her first therapy session. We laid down the framework for our marriage, went out on some dates, and overall spent quality time together. We still haven't been intimate, though. She tried to initiate once, but I gently turned it into cuddling and talking. Another issue is that I have some difficulties sleeping in the same bed as her, not because I have something against her, but I'm so used to sleeping in my own bed that I often only sleep 1 to 2 hours with her, wake up, and head to my home office / bedroom and sleep there. My thought process, though, is like, I feel like when I had a long-term girlfriend, I slept better with them.
Mhm.
And then when I got out of that relationship, I got used to sleeping better alone. And then when I
Yeah,
got
it's just
into a new relationship, initially it was hard to sleep with the person. And then it became easier to sleep better with them.
Yeah, I think it just takes time to adjust to sleeping with anyone new.
yeah.
Yeah.
In any circumstance, it's going to be a different, you're like, oh,
Yeah, it's just
this
different.
person
Yeah.
breathes.
Yeah, this person breathes, or like this person has like tape over their mouth and suffocates themselves in them.
Mhm.
Or they sleep.
I don't suffocate myself.
I wasn't talking about you.
I wake up and then head to my office / bedroom and sleep there. I wake up earlier and fix breakfast for her, so she's happy about it, but mentioned once I didn't sleep with her. Do those things take time? I mean, yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
I believe so, but I'm a bit scared I'm giving the impression I gave up on our marriage. I believe it will take months and a lot of work to get back at how we were, while she thinks the process should be quicker and I'm being too hard on myself and her.
Yeah. I think that, I feel like OP probably would get you more used to sleeping in the same bed if he was staying in the bed.
Yeah, I feel like you have to, you're
you have
not
to push
gonna,
through it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to push through.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, like when your baby is learning to sleep on its own. It's like it always wants to sleep with you, but
you just have to let it cry.
you have to let it cry for a little bit.
You have to let your soul cry a little bit.
Yeah. Bubbles Marie, though, says, I am team separate beds. A little after 12 years, I want my space and I snore, so I wake him up. Caitlin Van Campen says, can we normalize couples sleeping in different beds? I hate sharing a bed with my partner unless it's for spicy time.
Which I think is
no.
super fair. I think that if you don't want to sleep in the same bed with your partner, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
In this situation, it does seem like OP was doing that and wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And it's
all preference.
Yeah.
You don't have to sleep with a partner to be intimate with a partner.
My grandpa sleeps on the couch and my grandma sleeps in bed. And growing up, that was normal to me until I mentioned it to someone. They were like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
No, I mean, it was really common in
the 50s.
In the 50s in television, whenever two people slept in separate beds, because that's what everyone did.
Well, just also in different eras of time, that was you like with kings and queens, they would sleep in different rooms.
I'm sorry, Riley.
It's a thing.
My butt just is destroying. Maybe John will take my place for a little bit.
Oh, it's on me. Ming Ming says, preference but communicate with your partner. That's the thing. I think that he needs to talk to his wife more and say, hey, I'm not leaving the bed because I don't like you or something. It's because I'm still getting used to it. Just let her know.
Yeah. But we got a little bit more to this story.
Ooh.
So Comprehensive Row says, in the dead bedroom subreddit, which is it's a real subreddit.
Thing.
Dang, man.
People have discussed how you lose spicy sleep familiarity with someone and may feel uninterested or repulsed. You might have to rebuild it like you're new to each other and dating. In some ways, you're not the same people anymore when you first met. And we got some deleted updates.
Oh. OP was like, you can't know this?
Yeah.
And then they found it anyway because you can't delete anything online.
So, former drinky dranker, 27 male. I can't get over the shame even if my wife, 31 female, says she's proud of me 2 days later. I've been sober for over a year and got sober after she served me divorce papers. She decided to reconcile last January, and although things have been not easy, to say the least, we still sleep separately, and I don't feel secure enough to have spicy sleep with her. We do lots of individual and couples therapy. We somehow are managing. However, despite what she says, I can't get over the shame that I have been a useless and emotionally bad drunkard. And she probably remembers me as such. And the shame and guilt is becoming unbearable. I work as a civil servant in family services, ironically enough. And recently I got moved to the cabinet in the provincial government. Even had a photo shaking hands with our prime minister.
Whoa.
My wife picked this photo and put it out on Facebook for everyone to see, writing how proud she was. I do think she genuinely believes this, and I'm happy, but I also think she's too eager to sweep out the past and our problems that aren't fixed at all. I feel a lot of shame and guilt towards her every time I look at her, and at a certain point even looked forward to divorce.
No.
I think this is a case of
OP,
someone not having enough self-worth to believe that they deserve this love and are honestly trying to find problems because they don't believe they can have something this good.
Well, I mean, it's probably what kind of played in the reason he started drinking. There was probably some of that self-loathing and stuff, and it's still there.
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard because this person loves you so much, and sometimes it's hard to see that.
But she insists I am doing all the right things, and if I love her, divorce would be something I'll end up regretting.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel hopeless and even alone in my feelings. She wants for us to move on, but while for her, it might be easy to forgive me, for me, it's not easy to let go of the shame of what I was to her. My therapist says I have to deal with it on my own as I caused all this, and I agree, but I don't know how to move forward. Is there something I can do, or should I learn to accept this and live with it? Maybe with time it will get better. After all, a year sober is almost nothing, and there is more. So it seems like OP
self-sabotage.
yeah, it's a little self-sabotage. I feel like the wife has already forgiven and is trying to like move towards intimacy, but OP doesn't think enough
again
of themselves.
And again is like cutting it off and stopping it.
Yeah, which I think is, a sign you need more self-therapy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Princess Tika 2 says, but OP is self-sabotaging himself a lot.
No, it seems like the wife has, as you said, forgiven him and is trying to move forward. But yeah, I think if you can't forgive yourself, it is hard to move forward with another person.
Yeah. But we got another update. So my 27 male wife, 31 female, wanted a divorce because I was a drinky drinker. I got sober. She wants to reconcile, and it makes me feel anxious. She had every right to file for divorce because of my drankness. She didn't deserve that. In the meantime, I was sick of it, so I stopped the drinking, focused on my career, and on renovating my father's house. She wanted to reconcile upon seeing those changes, and I agreed, but now I'm realizing I had internalized the divorce in my life plans. I planned my new lease on life around it. I can't see myself being intimate with her. She tried a couple of times, and I gently turned her down. As a gesture of goodwill, I asked her if she wanted to participate in my father's home renovation project, and she accepted with enthusiasm. She always wanted a garden. Now I'm regretting it because that was supposed to be my retreat from the world, and I will have to share it with her. I said all of this to her. She was upset, but also understanding. In her opinion, part of the fault is hers. She never communicated about reconciliation and sprung it up on me, and as a result, what should have been a happy thing became a source of stress and anxiety for me. My therapist and her are saying this is depression talking, but I'm not so sure. Are we truly done? Yeah, I do think it's depression talking.
Absolutely.
I feel like the wife has like fully moved on and OP just can't.
Yeah. He's very, which is so sad. Yeah. I mean, and also I think that is, a lot of people in the comments are saying this is.
Yeah, read some of the comments. What do you got?
Caitlin Von Compen says, Sophia, yes, forgiving yourself is the hardest part of recovery. He is feeling everything I felt when getting sober. And Not Your Ex-Girlfriend says, it's one day closer to never feeling the worst in your life. Needs to shift perspective and gain self-worth. Yeah. It's just going from this just unimaginably hard point in your life where you were, where he was so low, feeling so low and also hurting other people and now just trying to get out of that.
But we got an update. My 27 male wife, 31 female, wanted a divorce because I was a drinker, got sober. She wants to reconcile, and it makes me feel anxious one day later. So not really an update, just a new development. I showed her the last thread. She's reading it on her phone. She said she already knew many of the things I wrote, including the comments about Gem and flowers. She said if she knew the anguish and reconciliation so soon would cause, she wouldn't have offered it and is regretting it.
No.
She thanks everyone for the kind words and appreciation made towards her. At the same time, she got upset in her opinion because in her opinion, I put things worse than they are. So either I exaggerated them or I've been keeping my true feelings from her, and this is a problem. For example, she says, I'm not as cold as I'm making myself up to be, and that she's not as pushy as I make her to be, and in fact, she's been giving me lots of space. She says I'm doing weird self-sabotage here. That's what we said. She says I'm trying to get her to leave me, but it won't happen, and if I really want to end it, I have to do it myself. She doesn't agree with it, but if I want to move out, she won't oppose it. She wasn't angry, just very numb.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to push her away because he feels like he's hurting her and he's still hurting her.
Now we have an update 13 days later.
No.
Things are not easy, but overall they are going well, both in therapy and everyday life. There's still some issues in getting intimate, but we are getting there. Sometimes, though, the shame and guilt become too much, and I wonder why she's even staying with me. Maybe sunk costs. I do my best little gifts, dates, cooking her favorite dishes, picking up chores, but to me, it always feels like I could do more. I think, again, it's the depression talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes she notices this and says, take it easy. She says, I try too hard sometimes and it comes off as artificial. She likes that now I'm all smiles, always shaved, well-dressed, and gentlemanly with her, but joke that sometimes I look like the president of her country of origin. I'm doing my best, though, even at the cost of overdoing it. And Historical Option in the comments says, you should really talk to a therapist and get longitudinal guidance. You're doing too much and it'll come across as cringe and overbearing. OP responds, we were doing therapy, but so far it's still very early. I was very apathetic about everything, so now I try my best to be enthusiastic about things. She usually likes it, but once I made a dance step, she laughed and said, what the heck was that?
So OP's like trying to find this balance and is going from apathy to just masking everything, and it's gonna take a minute for you to find where that balance is.
Yeah, but it sounds like she's okay.
Yeah, she's gonna give you that time
while you find it out.
Yeah, these commenters need to be a little bit nicer. We don't have to say he's being cringe.
I don't know if he's being cringe. Sad Tutor 2169 says, get a new therapist. He told you you're on your own. That sounds a bit unethical. Your wife loves you and wants you to heal. She is doing everything she can, it seems, to help you towards that goal. Seems you need to forgive yourself before you make a decision about your relationship. OP responds, somewhat. She told me to get a grip on those feelings or I'll end up self-sabotaging and ruining everything. Caterpillar Training 1 says, that doesn't sound like she said you're on your own at all. Sometimes you need help of others to get a grip.
That is interesting, because I was wondering about that you know, the therapist saying that, and maybe based off of this comment, it seems like OP might have kind of skewed what the therapist said in his mind.
Nurse Aaron says, I know he's in therapy, but I'm thinking he may need to start a medication to assist.
He might be on it.
He might be on it, but I was with a friend talking about like SSRIs, which is like for like depression medication. And something that he was saying is like, sometimes when you've been depressed for so long, you don't realize what feeling good can feel like. And like, he said, like, oh, you know, I don't necessarily want to be dependent on the medication, but using it as a reminder to understand like, oh, like this doesn't have to be my baseline. I can feel like it is within me to feel good about myself and my situation. Like that can be a good reminder to like get back out of depression.
Oh.
Nikki Bordeaux says, sounds like OP has issues with moderation. He's going from one extreme to another with his relationship with addiction. That's a really good.
Yeah. Well, he's like, if we're not back to where we were, then maybe we should just break up again. And it takes time.
And then Nurse Aaron says, exactly, Sam. I'm actually a psych nurse. I hear this a lot.
And Sophia Calone says, no, it's not addictive. It's necessary if you need it. You can't get out of it if you have the disorder. I think it depends on, I think, from person to person.
Yeah.
With depression, because some people obviously need like medication that they.
Yeah.
You know.
But I also think like a lot of like negative emotions that we feel are pointing us in a direction to feel better about our situation. You know, like often like I felt this, like I was thinking about this myself recently, where it's like like in times of like when I feel lonely, right? What that feeling of loneliness is saying to me is go seek connection, like go like hang out with your friends, go like poke your sister and be like, let's watch Walking Dead together, right? If instead you satiate that with like watching, you know, a movie or like, I don't know, doing something that doesn't act like that numbs that wanting that feeling of desiring connection instead of like actually solves it. I think you can get into this habit of just like numbing instead of actually letting that emotion feel complete, like run through you completely and then acting on it. And Sophia Callan says, but disorders aren't normal emotions.
That's
it's
what
normal.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No,
it's
so
different.
This is not comparing OP. Like this is not saying that he shouldn't need it, but
no, I get your point. I think they're like, we're kind of taught, like Sophia Calon and other people are talking about different, because there's medically diagnosed depression, whereas that's something that you literally like need meds for.
Yeah.
And then there's going through a really hard time.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a medical diagnosis and stuff like that. So there's like different approaches to both of those.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
We got another update So I ripped my wife's divorce papers 3 days later. 2 months ago, things are going lukewarmly well. Talks of reinitiating divorce proceedings have stopped. And although we still sleep separately and have no intimacy, my issues working on it with my therapist, we are doing well.
You okay?
Sometimes I feel I can't get over the shame that I have been a useless and abusive drunkard, and she probably remembers me as such, and the shame and guilt become unbearable, but then it passes a bit. Basically, we're starting over, dating, doing bonding activities. I get her gifts and surprises. She admitted she thought things would go faster, but in the end agrees with me that after a year of separation, things can't just get back as before. She also says I am too hard on myself, but I think she's the one being too indulgent. But apart from those difficulties, we are doing fine. We got some comments. So Taiwan Bandit says, basically, we're starting over, dating, doing bonding activities. They say, I've been following your story and happy you seem to be making progress. You both have been through a lot of turmoil, but have stuck with each other for the most part. So keep at it. Seek therapy to help along the road. I think once you get over the intimacy blockage, you will be much better off as a couple. Keep working at it, OP. Take care. And OP responds, thank you. I have hope, but sometimes I feel like we are stuck or that we are delaying the inevitable, although I feel like this only occasionally. And Taiwan Bandit says, a break through the wall, OP. I think you can make this work. And update 3, I ripped my wife's divorce papers. I am leaving.
No, OP. No.
I'm leaving.
No. I hope you mean like you're leaving to move into your dad's place together.
You're leaving the county you currently live in.
I think this will be my last post for a while. Things are going well, reasonably so. Still having issues in the bedroom, but I'm working on them to try to be a good husband, at least on that aspect. Last week, I received a work assignment in the capital of our country. It's a 2-month-long assignment, and I'll be provided state housing. She's excited about this and already wants to pack her bags. By the way, you should pack your bags and join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. BST right here on YouTube and Facebook. Just tap a profile.
Tap it.
There's another relevant update. Should we
Okay,
get
so
into
that it doesn't seem like he is actually leaving.
We'll see. I have my doubts about her coming along for her own sake. She has friends and family here. Me, not so much. Cut them all off and not interested in reconnecting. I don't know if that's healthy, OP. Ooh. Her support system as a whole is there. She has reasons and loved ones to stay here, unlike me. She won't budge since we are married. It's her full right to come along. And since she has her own e-commerce business, she can manage it remotely. Plus, she wants us to get back home every weekend. I know better than dying on this hill, so I'll always be leaving with her. So that's it. Naturally, I am always cautiously and within reason hopeful about our future together.
Okay,
so they're leaving
Wes,
together.
they're leaving together.
Oh, let's go.
Huzzah!
And there is one more final update.
OP lied to us.
This might be a happy Reddit story.
It seems like it was like really up in the air. OP was not sure if he could do it.
To 2 more. We actually have 2 more updates.
2 more updates. Oh man.
So 4 weeks later, just dropped by to say this will really be my last post. It's not. We got 1 more. I couldn't take it anymore, and I did not understand why I kept having negative thoughts about my wife and me despite things going well. And some of you got into my head. There could be something wrong in my head. We were literally talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got in touch with a professional, got tests done, and found out my blood values were very screwed up.
Let's go.
This led the doctors to speculate a chemical imbalance in my brain and prescribed me antidepressants. Not exactly antidepressants. They are mood regulators, they told me.
This is what helped my mom.
This must be. I mean, I've talked to people who have been in situations like this with different mental health things, but like it must be so kind of relieving to realize it's not your fault. You literally have like chemical imbalances in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like you didn't do anything wrong. You weren't failing or anything. You literally just like
that's
just your brain.
Yeah,
it was just your brain.
My mom did that, and she found out she had like a lack of B12, and so she gets like a B12 shot every like 3 months. And then my brother would always sleep, mad sleep, sad sleep, tired sleep. So she took him to get his blood work done to see if she could also fix him. He's fine.
He's just a sleepy boy.
Oh.
Both my wife and I were hesitant about this, but I gave it a try, and lo and behold, my negative thoughts disappeared overnight. I
Oh, wow.
finally feel in control of my emotions. I feel that I love my wife, and I feel that things can and will get better.
You just needed medicine.
I was putting on a front before, but now I really enjoy spending time with her and make her smile. We started making sweet love again, and no blue pill was needed. And we got back from the capital every weekend. We were turning my father's old villa into our private retreat and love nest. I did apologize for my unreliable behavior in the past months. After she had extended me an olive branch, she said she doesn't blame because of what we know now, but I still think it's not a valid excuse. I should have sought medical help sooner. Now I can say and mean it that I'm happy and grateful. My wife practically gave me a third chance, and I don't want to waste it. I want to make her smile every day and enjoy everything to the fullest. I guess this is it, and you won't be hearing from me ever again. Not true, we will. I just want to thank you guys for your inputs, opinions, advice, and criticism. Per aspera ad astra. And Taiwan Bandit says, congrats, OP. Many have been following your story and happy you gave us a positive story to read. Continue to take care of yourself and your wife. And OP responds, thank you, my friend. I will. It feels like I've been on a very long hangover, and it cleared up just now. And Veronica9216 says, I followed your story, and I was one of those thinking there was something wrong in your head. No offense. I mean a chemical imbalance. I'm glad to see medication has improved you and your wife's quality of life. I think she's especially happy because after all this time, she finally got back the love of her life. OP responds, thank you. I admit I am a bit afraid I could end up hooked on medication for the rest of my life. But doctors reassured me it won't be the case. And anyhow, the priority is our wellness. Hobby Subs only also says, it's wonderful to see that you are finally getting medicated for the issue that you self-medicated with alcohol. I wish you the best. And OP says, you are right. I stopped drinking. I never properly prioritized taking care of my wife and myself. This has changed now. And we have another update.
Man, oh man.
6 weeks later. But I really want to just quickly say, I think this is the beauty of trying some of this medication because you can understand what it feels like to feel good.
Mm-hmm. And I also think it just again shows that if you go if you are feeling these things and you're feeling like something is wrong, get tested, because either it can be maybe it's just I need to switch up how I'm living my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that is the solution, or it might be literally something is wrong with your brain and you need actual medication and you don't know what your solution is until you check it out.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's like you can't have the right habits and structure of your life if you don't know what happiness feels like. Because often, in a healthy brain, you have negative emotions that point you towards doing positive things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in an unbalanced brain, you point your life towards what should be positive things, and then nothing in your brain changes. And so it's like you've kind of lost your North Star, your compass.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what getting on the right medication looks like is you have a compass that works again.
Yes.
And you can point yourself towards the right things.
And if you have a good doctor, they will make sure that you're getting the right amount of medication, and that's not gonna as Josephine Middleberg says, most mood stabilizers are non-addictive. So it's making sure you're on the right medication and you're good.
You're good. But we got one final update.
Mm-hmm.
You ready for this?
Oh yeah.
Take us home.
I know I said I wouldn't post anymore, but I just wanted to let you guys know that things are going better and better.
Let's go.
My mental state is always good, and my wife is always smiling. She's letting her creativity flourish in my father's villa garden. She has lots of projects and has already planted a lot of different flowers and plants. When we are there, she just loves relaxing in the garden after a long day and sometimes even falls asleep there. For now, we stay there occasionally, but we are thinking about moving there permanently.
Do it.
And for my wife to rent her place. And it was a lot of fun to discover all the rooms in the house, explore the attic, and the rest of the property. Wife says this is our slice of paradise, and who knows, if things are going well, it would be the best place to raise a family.
Oh, wow.
We travel a lot between the capital and our town for my work, and all the traveling makes us bond even more. We make little stops on the way and discover new places. Our love life has also fired up.
Ooh-wee.
They banging. And we have done and experimented much more in the last months than all the years that we have been married. They got the stocks. You got the stocks and the tomatoes and the paddles.
That's right.
That's
It does
darn right.
wonders to a relationship.
It does wonders to the
The
relationship.
stocks?
Yeah, we haven't told you about my kinky thing where I put Riley in stocks in my room. You know, those the medieval
Yeah,
stocks
no,
and throw tomatoes at them.
Okay.
Yeah. Reference from another episode.
You
I
know
wasn't
how
there.
all those times you go rock climbing?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm climbing on Riley.
No, I thought you guys were making soup.
No, that's what you do.
And she's very happy that I initiate much more than I did in the past. Overall, I would say we are more than okay. Taiwan Bandit says, such a nice update. I followed your story from the beginning and it's so refreshing to read a happy update. Take care of you and your lovely wife. Start that family and fill that villa up with children's voices, laughter, and love. Thanks for the updates.
It's lovely.
And that is where our story ends.
Dang.
It really, it took time, but we got there. And now OP and his wife are just sitting outside in the flowers.
In the sun and the rain.
Lovely.
But I think we got one more story in this episode.
Mm-hmm. I cut off my friends because they shoved a sock in my mouth. All of this happened less than a year ago in India. I am an Indian born in India, but I lived in Malaysia for 5 to 6 years. When I was almost 7, we moved back to India. I excel in many subjects, including math, science, English, etc. But the thing was, I was very socially awkward and emotionally sensitive by the time my parents and I moved back to India. By the way, this comes from Recognition Ill 2337 on the OK Storytime subreddit.
I bet they also excelled in fashion.
Because of the socks.
Yep.
Let's talk about my friends. We'll call them A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Give them names.
Aaron, Billy, Carl, Derek, Edgar, and Frank. My dad.
Are we going to remember that?
Aaron,
Let me
Billy,
write that down.
Carl, Derek, Edgar, and Frank.
One second.
Okay.
You have a pen on you?
No, why would I have a pen on me?
I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. Wow. She just said,
Why would I have a pen on me? One day less than a month after moving in, we went shopping in a big supermarket in my small city, but we forgot a bag of groceries. My mother went and saw a boy who is Aaron 5 years before the incident. What incident? Ominous.
The sock
The incident.
The sock incident.
My mother told him about me, a boy without friends. Aaron told her that he also had no friends, which was not true. Wait, I'm sorry. She's just like in the grocery store and she sees this little like young boy and she's like, hello, my son has no friends.
Come be my son's friend.
And he's like, I have no friends, but he was a liar.
Whoa.
So we had a little temporary tent in my apartment, and so we played for as long as possible using my father's tab for hours at a time on holidays. He was a great friend back then.
Uh-oh.
Aaron, a few months later, he introduced me to Billy and Carl, other fellow kids of my apartment. Oh, Billy was a little girl. But Billy can be a girl's name, so
Billy, yep, she's still Billy.
She's still
Billy Claire.
Billy Piper.
One of our own. Her name's Billy Claire, remember?
Yeah. And Carl was kind of an autistic person who was older than me by 2 years, but very fun to be around. They were good people. Oh, I also failed to mention Aaron is a year younger than me. I was and still am usually a kind and polite person, so I didn't call them names such as Ray or Ra, which meant you in a very friendly or disrespectful manner. But even though Aaron was younger than me, he called me those names, but I seriously didn't care. So it seems like in their language, they have words that are used to denote familiarity. So like in Spanish, you have like, the usted and the tú.
Yep.
So that's what I'm thinking
Or in
of.
French, it's like law and fee-law. Just made that up.
I just like, what are you talking about? Around the pandemic, I didn't join them because of the virus, but my parents didn't want me to go, but they didn't care if I went, which I didn't. Okay. My parents are one of the best parents. My mother taught me many important things, which started my hunger for learning.
Uh-oh.
My mother was also preparing for a notoriously hard government exam for a government job since I was 4 to 5. This would be important later.
Oh, wow.
A year and a half has passed since me and Aaron met each other, so I think OP probably is still on the younger side.
Mm-hmm.
Billy had to move away to a big city while we stayed behind. That same year, another boy older than me by 2 years at the start. He was also a great person to me, but slowly everything changed. I think OP meant they met another boy.
Uh-oh.
Now, 2 years have passed. I start slowly getting less polite to people, but still could not insult them to their faces or call them previously mentioned names. Wait, what? What's going on?
Are we changing their names now?
What do you mean? Opie's like, after 2 years passed, and I started freaking hating all my friends.
Oh, man.
Is that what you mean? And also, my school since the start was a great school with teachers actually caring for children, but their school was infamous for its high stress rates, and both Aaron and Derek were part of the school. Carl was also in that school, but still, he was very nice to everyone. The difference of schools and my parents' freedoms might have started jealousy in Derek, and since Aaron and Derek were very close, some of Derek's ideas might have spread to Aaron. This is a weird story. What's
the
going on?
politics are getting crazy.
To call me to play, Aaron will come and ring the doorbell, and I will answer, and most of the time play with them. But sometimes I don't want to play. How old are these people? So he starts lying to me. He says stuff such as, I'm going to Mumbai tomorrow, but he never goes. Or in the summer holidays, he would say that he's going to his native place tomorrow for the whole of the holidays. And guess who's there the very next day? Or things such as he's going to a hostel and we'll never see him again.
What?
Okay, I think these are children.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I
these
think
are
these
high
are
schoolers.
children. I honestly think they're middle schoolers.
Really? A middle schooler on Reddit?
I
Who
think a
let their
middle
kid
schooler's on Reddit, and I think he's like, my friends are being mean to me, and I'm older than all of them, and one of my friends, I'm trying to hang out with them, but he keeps lying to me, and that's really mean. I think that's what's going on here. I also have a small laptop that my father gifted me just before 2020. It was not for gaming or anything, but my father bought me some games such as Minecraft. This is a middle schooler. Tabs, Spaceflight Simulator, etc. Aaron and Derek would sometimes ask for me to play on my laptop, which my father would decline. But when they do play on it, we take turns. Aaron and Derek would take more time or lives in the game, making me and the others wait for their turn. Almost every time we play a game which we created called Gatu Polam or Land and Field. But now 4 years have passed, and Edgar and Fred, very nice people too on their own, move into this apartment. Okay, no, they are adults or older.
What?
This sounds like a child. OP, you sound like a child.
Yeah.
What's going on in this story?
I'm confused. Played? I'm thinking video games.
It sounds like
they have to be
OP's
talking about
like,
video games.
they wouldn't let us play on the computer. And that's the plot of this story. This was at a time when I didn't want to play with them for over 3 to 6 months, which was a kind of cyclical process. But ever since Edgar came to this apartment, we would play nothing but cricket. And a controversial opinion that I have is that cricket's not fun. So even though I didn't want to play, I didn't have any other option.
Dang.
Now it's late 2023 and my mother wrote the exam and got the job in August, and she had to go to training and her name was on the news. She also did an interview about it and mentioned me as one of the people who helped her prepare for it. She had to go to training in my hometown, luckily for another year until November of 2024, which is tomorrow or day after tomorrow for people of other time zones. And this created more tension between us. My resentment for them increased as my self-respect increased too. Honestly, I feel like we haven't really gone over why your friends suck. Like
We're getting there. This is all context. We're getting there.
It's a lot
Remember
of
the
context.
sock.
The sock.
Don't forget about the sock.
And it all boiled down to a single day. A week before the incident.
Boy.
I went that day in the summer holidays of 2024 and played, as usual, cricket. OP hates cricket. That day, they asked me to call Fred to play, but I told them that I won't go, since I go call him every single day, but they send me no matter what I said.
I think OP is the runt of the group.
Yeah, I think they're like, oh, go get Fred.
Go get
Pick him
Fred.
up. And he's like, I always get Fred. Why can't someone else get Fred?
We're
And
going to
they're
play
like,
video games, and you're going to be the last one to do it.
yeah, he's
and
like, but this is my computer. And they're like, too bad.
yeah, your friends are just using you.
Yeah, your friends
suck,
Your friends
dude.
suck, man. They went on as usual, me absolutely hating them. I go home and say that I don't want to play with them for a week. My plan was to see if they will be at least a friend to me after that week. The test. And then this goes into the incident. I still wasn't as mentally strong as I am now. So my parents would go tell them that I wouldn't come. I go that day. The same thing happens in the morning. They call me in the afternoon to Aaron's house and told me to bring my chessboard. I was much better at it than both of them combined at chess. As usual, they lose. OP is not lacking confidence for sure. He's got the ego.
Yep, that's true.
But this time, Derek tells Aaron to take one of his school socks and shove it into my mouth. This was disrespectful in India. For footwear shall not touch any other part of human, let alone the mouth. Shockingly, it's also disrespectful, I think, in most places.
Yeah, let us know if it's disrespectful where you guys live.
I don't think it's respectful to put up your sock in someone's mouth anywhere.
Anywhere.
No, I'm going to be honest. I immediately took my chessboard and went home after saying in a very angry but still polite voice, "You're not my friends polite. You're not my friends anymore. You never would be ever again."
Aw.
And I presumably had to spit out the sock. I reached my point. I went home and I told my parents everything they did. They immediately told them about this in a polite way, even though they did such a horrendous thing to their own friend. And guess what they said? I put the sock on their shoulders, so they put it in my mouth. Oh, so as OP's walking home, OP's friends call up OP's parents and are like, just in case you might hear about a story of us putting a sock in your son's mouth, but we actually did that because he put the sock on our shoulders.
Oh, lying.
Liars. There are two things outright wrong about that. One, that's false. And two, is that a reasonable thing to do? It's like saying they destroyed my car using their car, so I destroyed their car using a nuke. Yeah.
What? I feel like they had the... okay.
OP saying,
okay.
you get it? And we cut ties. They were desperate for me to come back and play with them, but I didn't. OP's not gonna...
He's done with you and cricket.
Yeah. He's never gonna play cricket again.
Ever.
He's gonna play Minecraft on his computer that you guys all wanted.
Mm-hmm. And he's gonna play chess by himself.
By himself, because he's that good. 'Cause you guys suck at chess. You couldn't play by yourself. The aftermath. There was a birthday party of my neighbor 1 to 2 weeks after the fallout. Aaron and Derek don't talk to me. I was a completely changed boy who could now talk and fight back. They looked at me with shame and made others not talk to me. They were watching a cricket match on their phone. Not a cricket match. At the birthday party itself. Oh my God, they were at someone's birthday party and they were just watching cricket? Unbelievable. But you know what else I can't believe?
What's that?
That anyone would not join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube and Facebook. All you have to do is tap our profile. It's that easy. Rachel Geyer says, this story makes me feel old. This story makes me feel old. I feel like these are children.
Little children.
Literal children. But there is a little bit left. OP, if you are a literal child, my advice is find new friends.
Yep. Dump every single person on this list.
Dump them all. Maybe not Carl. Carl seems like okay.
Carl. Well, I
think
Carl
left actually.
Yeah.
So.
Carl already knew what was up.
Yeah. But your friends don't like you. They're trying to take advantage of you, and you don't have to put up with it. Don't let anyone put a sock in your mouth.
Not at all.
Don't let them silence you. Yeah. Nurse Aaron says this story has Diary of a Wimpy Kid vibes. Yeah.
Fun fact,
Cheese touch, but a sock.
When I was young, I thought Diary of a Wimpy Kid was Diarrhea of a Wimpy Kid. And I asked my dad if I could take it to church, and he said no because diarrhea makes people think of bad things. And so, yeah.
So you couldn't take it to church because you misread it?
Yeah. But he never saw the book. I was like, can I take Diarrhea of a Wimpy Kid to church? And he said no.
Diarrhea of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, I didn't know it was spelled that. And yet they never told me I had dyslexia. I just thought that was normal.
You just thought?
I just thought people couldn't really read that well.
Yeah. But there is more to this story that we will read. Well, a few months later, there were 2 gatherings at the parking lot under the apartment itself. Oh my goodness. They're about to have a West Side Story rumble. I went to both of them. They were organized by Edgar and Fred, respectively. Aaron and Derek were now at least courteous with me and tried to reconcile, which I declined. OP's holding their own. And the story's over for now.
Oh my.
This is a really great pick, right?
You know what? Someone put that there and I put it in here. So
Honey Hill Apiary says, I'm gonna die if it's revealed that they're 20-somethings. I really would love to know how old they are, because it seems like I want to say they're in their, they're middle schoolers.
Yeah.
That's my take on this. We don't really have any other information about it. I'm like trying to see. I lived in Malaysia. They moved when they were 7. We don't know. I'm gonna assume they're 12 because this is a 12-year-old's thing to do.
Yep.
But that is the end of that story.